What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Vertical NBA podcast. I am Nick Massioli, and joining me, as he typically does, is Steve Hendrickson. Steve, we're going to kick this off with a little bit of a deep cut NBA trivia. So I have an interesting statistic for you. We're going to see what you could do with this. I'm going to give you some context clues, but you will need to solve the riddle. So just bear with me. So we have three players in the NBA currently averaging 10 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists at least, with 40% shooting and 1 3-point make per game. I'll give you two of them. We have a pair of Phoenix Suns, Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. Who do you think is the missing link in that equation? Let's hear it.
So at least 10, 5, and 5.
10, 5, and 5. 40%.
40% from three?
From three. From three.
And at least 1 3 a game.
Yep.
This is a tough one. This is a tough one to start off with.
It's probably not who you expect, but once you hear the answer, you're going to be like, I should have had that.
My initial thought was Nikola Jokic, but no, I don't think he's at 40%. He's probably
that's the disqualification right there. He would be in there. He would definitely be in there.
Okay.
See, now you're thinking 40% shooters. I'll give you another hint. You're not going to get it if you're thinking 40% shooters.
Oh, geez. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, he is technically, but it's not typical.
All right. How many guesses do I get at this? Let's say like 3 guesses.
Let's do. Yeah. That just made me think of, remember Pirtle, the game? It was like, yes. We'll give you 3 guesses here.
3 guesses.
We'll give you 3 guesses. I'll tell you if you're getting warmer or colder too. I'll give you the yellow, the green, or the red.
Okay, sounds good. So my first guess is De'Aaron Fox.
That's a good guess, but no.
Okay.
10. Yeah, that's a good guess. I'm surprised. Like you would think there's a lot of players in here. The fact that there's only 3 is kind of weird.
Only 3. That is weird.
And Kevin Durant and Devin Booker are 2 of them. So you're already thinking in that. Let's hear it. What do you
got? Number 2, LeBron James.
No, but
no.
Well, there's probably the 40% there again.
Yeah,
that's probably getting them again. And probably Fox as well. I would think that all 3 of those guys. Well, that's technically your 3 guesses, but just because you guessed Jokic beforehand.
But Jokic wasn't a guess. That was just my first inclination. That was just my first inclination.
Right. If I didn't include him in there, then obviously it's not going to be him. You know I'm not going for that easy of an answer.
Yes, I know. My final guess. Give me.
Okay.
Give me something.
I'll give you. Me, okay. What do you want?
Yeah. No. Give me the. So my 2 guesses were De'Aaron and LeBron.
Yeah. Okay. Wait. I do have to tell you for getting warmer. I guess. Yeah. With LeBron, it's a little warmer, not in terms of like the class of player, but more of like the association with that player, not team. Not the same team. I mean, that's a little something right there. I'll give you one. I have one other. Well, what was your qualifying? What was your hint that you wanted?
I was trying to. What conference?
Okay,
Western Conference player.
There you go.
Okay. We will go with.
Come on, it's now or never.
I know.
I want you to get this.
Damn. This is really tough. Tough.
I'm putting you on the clock. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. All right, you got the count of 5. 5.
James Harden. I don't know.
No. All right. Draymond Green.
Wow.
The 40%. Yes.
No. You see, the problem is I knew that because a few days ago I was listening to another podcast and they were like asking who's shooting the best 3-point percentage on the Golden State Warriors.
That's so funny. And wow.
The first answer to my head would obviously be Steph Curry, maybe Klay Thompson, Moses
Moody. Yeah, maybe give me some Moses Moody in there.
Draymond Green is shooting like 52% from 3 or something like that.
Yeah, he's back on his 2016 shit. No, that was why I was like, he could maybe get this because it is like a known thing. He's shooting well this year, but like That's why I said you wouldn't typically like think that it's
the
him. Like he's not a
the
typical 40% shooter, but he is technically.
the association with LeBron was a good hint for
That was
Draymond,
good, right? That was pretty
but
good.
I went into age class rather
Yeah.
than just thinking about like who who, who's there with LeBron, like type like relationship wise or whatnot. So I just went with age and just went with James Harden, even though I know that guy sucks at basketball.
Oh wow. That was I mean, come on. They did beat the Nuggets last night. They did beat the Nuggets last night.
They
He had a
did beat the
decent
Nuggets
game.
last night. It
It's
was
gonna take
Jamal
some time.
Murray's. It was Jamal Murray's first game back. It was Aaron Gordon's first game back in a little bit. You know, we're not going to go over the Clippers right now. We're not going to do that.
I mean, as long as they don't have to go against Reggie Jackson and DeAndre Jordan pick and roll, I think they're going to be
Hmm.
fine. That's clearly like the Achilles heel for this team right now.
Clearly,
One of them,
clearly.
at least one of
I
them.
mean, who doesn't have problems with the Reggie Jackson, DeAndre Jordan pick and roll?
Exactly.
There's not a single team. There's not a
What
single team
team
that's not going
doesn't?
to have a problem
What
with
team
that.
doesn't get fits from that? I mean, it's unguardable. It's literally unguardable. But anyway, so yeah. Speaking of LeBron, there was a few different ways you could have went with that association. You know, there's the class of player, there's the teammates, there's the age, like you said. But one thing that would also group a lot of players in with LeBron right now is the fact that he is in the in-season tournament, the quarterfinals, or what is it, semifinals. He won the quarterfinals, and there are a lot of other good players in this tournament. So I did want to start off with a little bit of a preview for tonight's games, right? Tonight, yeah, we have the Bucks and the Pacers in the early slot, and then I think we have the Lakers and the Pelicans after that. But I was just curious, what are your thoughts so far? What did you think of the first knockout round? What did you like from it? What did you not like? What do you think could be improved? And just overall, what are your thoughts from those games?
Yeah, honestly, I loved the first round of like knockout games. It was a little like going into the tournament, everyone was a little weary of it. Like before the tournament even started, before we had the group stages, whatnot, everyone was a little weary of like what was going to happen. And like the first 2 to 3 games, it just seemed like regular, normal NBA basketball.
You're talking about
But
group play, right?
yes,
Yeah, group
group
play.
play. Yeah, I'm kind of rewinding back a little bit here,
Right,
but
right.
I'm gonna get to my ultimate point. But by the time we hit that fourth game for each team, because it was groups of it was groups of five. So the fourth game for each team, uh, every team took that extremely seriously, and like not to mention the Celtics in their final game. I believe it was against the Chicago Bulls in their final game going into the elimination round,
I already know
and
where you're going.
the Celtics had to win by like 17 to make sure that they had the upper hand over Orlando. And they went to the hack of Drummond at the end of the game. They were pissing off the Bulls because
Yeah.
they were trying to pad their stats, which is understandable because they wanted to advance. But it was like it was really cool to see like the dynamics at play, like the coaching, the shortened rotations. But now getting to the first elimination round, I watched the entirety of the Pacers Celtics game, and man, that was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. The Pacers atmosphere was unreal. It was like a playoff basketball atmosphere,
Or
which is exactly what we were looking for.
or like a March Madness game, which is
Yes,
it's like the perfect blend between the two. It really is.
exactly, because it's a one single game elimination,
Exactly.
and like there was really no like we had no reference point. We
Right.
didn't know what it was going to look like, and I gotta say, like the NBA outdid themselves with that because they made a December 4th like normal Monday night
Right.
game feel like a playoff atmosphere, which was really cool. I didn't see as much of the Kings Pelicans game later that night, but from what I heard, the Kings atmosphere was insane, even though they lost, which is what I expected because the Kings last year had one of the best home court advantages in all of the NBA. So it was really cool to see that. And I enjoyed the Knicks Bucks game for what it was for about a half,
Yeah.
and then it just went off the rail. So, like, we're Knicks fans. I don't know if we really said that on this podcast. Me and you are both diehard Knicks fans. We've done a good job of keeping our biases aside. but that was tough to watch from a Knicks fan's perspective. And the last game, obviously, the Lakers Suns, that also had playoff like atmosphere and
Awesome.
like a lot of tension between those two teams, especially because you have the whole Durant LeBron rivalry aspect to it, which I kind of really liked for a first round matchup. And actually, going off of that, do you know LeBron's record versus Kevin Durant in the regular season?
Maybe like 14-2. I don't know, something like that.
You're kind of on the right track.
Right.
18-5.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that's pretty close. That's
Le-
like, yeah, that's pretty close right there.
LeBron very much seems to take that matchup especially
Yeah,
personal.
it
Like
definitely it definitely
he
shows.
yeah, he really wants to go out there and prove a point every single time he plays against KD, and he proved a point. He dropped like 30, 11, and 8 in 40 minutes. Like he went out there with a point to prove, and he wanted to advance, and that was really cool to see.
Definitely, definitely. And building off of that too, I mean, just to go back a little bit when you're talking about the Pacers and the Celtics, like that atmosphere, it reminded me almost like of like an 8 seed knocking off like a 1 seed in the March Madness
Yeah,
tournament, like something like that. Like obviously the Pacers, everyone knows they're, not to be taken lightly, but that's like, the point guard just absolutely taking over. That really felt like one of those
yeah,
games that we have in March. And then to your point too, I think some of the discussion earlier, I think I might have even said this, like that, like I like the idea of the tournament, but maybe the placement was like a little too early. But honestly, thinking about it, I don't think it could be placed at a better spot in the season because, like you said, we're in December. And then usually the stuff before Christmas is where people aren't really paying attention at all. Even diehard fans like us might be more focused on other things. There's football going on, there's college sports going on. So it's not necessarily in the spotlight this time of year. And then you have Christmas, you have the All-Star break, and then you have the playoffs. So I think this was the perfect empty space for the NBA to put this. And building off of what you said as well, I think a lot of players have started to slowly take this more seriously. Where beforehand, it was really funny. Maybe like a month and change ago, like right around when this was starting, I was watching League Pass, and you know how sometimes you do like the game breaks, and they just have like the overarching like NBA media stuff coming at you, like NBA
yeah.
commercials, because they're not showing the national or local TV commercials. And one of them was like they were going around asking all the players about the
I know where
in-season
you're
tournament.
going.
Yeah, and they literally half of them literally had no idea like the parameters of it, and it was like totally like the fact that they even used that footage, like that was like the good footage they had from it. So
Yeah,
you just know that obviously at first it really wasn't, it really wasn't being taken seriously until it was. Like you said, you
yeah.
have Joe Mazzulla literally hack a Drummond, and he has
Hacker
to the
Drummond.
point where he has to go talk to Billy Donovan on the sideline and
Yeah,
apologize and
Billy
just be
was
like,
so mad.
I just want to make it clear this is why we're doing. I'm not an asshole. I mean, whatever. Anyway, so just that, and then also Kevin Durant with his comments recently. I think he even said, like, honestly, at first he wasn't really feeling it, and then being in that game, especially being in that game with LeBron, that tight game at the end where you said it did seem like everyone took it seriously. He said himself it was like a playoff game, and I
Yeah,
think that's exactly what the NBA was going for. And I think that you got to test out those playoff rotations. You got to see that playoff intensity. Rotations are shortened, as I said. So overall, I think it just couldn't have worked any better, honestly,
yeah.
to this point.
Honestly, I have one critique, just one, just for the overarching fan standpoint, because me and you, well, actually, if we want to go there, like when we talked about it at first, neither of us really knew exactly like the rules at play. We were talking about the Knicks possibly winning their group, but it was impossible because they lost the head-to-head to the Bucks,
Right.
and we didn't realize like the point differential part of it and all of that. So once we learned that, it was more digestible. But the one thing I would say for future reference would be maybe cut out like instead of having it on Tuesdays and Fridays and like just regular games on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever it is, maybe cut out like a portion of the schedule
Yeah.
and make that all in season tournament
It's like go
and
all in. Go all in.
just
I
go
think they're
all in on
treading.
it.
They're like treading. They're like weren't
Yeah,
sure, but that, I mean that's reasonable. Honestly, I see
yeah,
that could be likely for next year. And
exactly.
the NBA is not afraid of change. Like we had the play-in tournament, we've had this obviously. So it's been fun. Honestly, it's
I
been very
yeah,
exciting the past few years.
I've definitely liked a lot of the change. Like everyone was a little weary of the in-season tournament too, and that's played out magnificently. Like in all honesty, making that 1-game elimination type deal for the 10 seed or whatnot, and then that 2-game elimination for the 7 or 8 seed. It's a cool thing to do. But actually, I want to go back to the quarterfinals where Tyrese Halliburton and the Indiana Pacers knocked off the Boston Celtics. And my big thing is Tyrese Halliburton is that guy. Like,
yeah,
he
arrived.
Really is.
He has arrived.
And before the season, like, he was really good last year too. Like, but he did get hurt down the stretch, and that just torpedoed the entire like Pacers season because he was the entire team. This year, he's not the entire team. Like, they have a lot of good basketball players on that team right now.
Obi Toppin, baby.
Yes.
Former Nick Legend, Obi Toppin.
I actually saw a stat about Obi veering off a little bit. Whenever he plays like 30 plus minutes in a game, his averages are absurd. He averages like 22 points, 8 rebounds, like 40% from 3. But like, it's a very specific stat when he only plays 30 minutes, and that's only happened like 7 times in his career.
He usually is playing 30 minutes because he's scoring and rebounding and hitting threes and playing defense. So that's they go hand in hand.
Being a little selective there, but like, I do like what Obi's given them. Miles Turner hasn't been that great on the defensive end of the ball, but like, Tyrese has opened up his offensive game so much. And then Bruce Brown was a great addition in the offseason.
Oh, yeah.
You still have Ben Mathurin there. Aaron Nesmith is over there giving real
Dude,
good
I've been
minutes.
on the Aaron Nesmith train since when was he drafted? Like 2018? I've been talking about Aaron Nesmith since. Bro, he's a shooter, baby. He's a shooter. Take some time.
You held that stock, and
I held that stock. It's paying off
pretty well.
It's like Bitcoin.
But, the one thing about Halliburton's night that night, his final stat was like 27, 13, and 10, but 0 turnovers.
Insane.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen this discourse on NBA Twitter recently, but there have been 7 occurrences of that happening in NBA history.
Wow.
There's been 7 occurrences of a triple-double with 0 turnovers.
Okay.
Now, I would like...
You're throwing the trivia back at me. I like it.
I'm throwing a little bit of trivia at you. There's one player that's done it twice. He's done it in the past week.
The other player?
The other player has done it twice in the past week.
In the past week. Okay. What? Wait. You're making this up right now.
Nope. Maybe a week and a half now.
Oh, Luka. No.
You're on the right track.
I got to be on the right track with that one. Draymond Green. Shit. I mean, LeBron?
You're thinking too hard.
I definitely am thinking too hard.
Thinking way too hard. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, I feel like he's not even like a valid answer. But
it's not a valid answer, but
not surprising.
Dude, it happened 7 times in NBA history.
How many Jokic have?
He has 2 of them. He has 2
6.
of them.
Oh, okay. They only come in last week.
But they're both in the past week.
That's insane. Wait, isn't it crazy that the Nuggets aren't part of this whole tournament too? That's something I just realized. Yeah, they wouldn't even make it. Interesting.
They didn't even make it.
Injuries came at a bad time though. They're fine. There's nothing to worry about with them.
Who came out of their spot? It was that.
I don't know. The group. See, that's another thing. The groups. It's hard to remember the groups.
Tough.
It's hard to remember the groups.
Yeah.
It's random. I mean, it's just kind of broken up among.
Yeah, I believe they were in the same as the. It was. I think it was the Pelicans. The Pelicans came out of their group.
That makes sense.
Yes. The Pelicans did.
But anyway.
But no. I was just gonna say, like, how absurd is it? Twitter was going crazy. I saw so many posts about this Tyrese Halliburton thing, and then I saw, Jokic did it twice in the past week.
That's what happens. That's what happens. You expect it. It's literally the LeBron factor. It's like 27, 7, 7 on 50, 40, or on 50, 35. whatever. Like, doesn't
Yeah,
matter. It's just
for
what we've
20
come to
years
expect.
now.
What we've come to expect. Anyway, going back to LeBron and going back to the quarterfinals, I actually wanted to touch on the Lakers Suns game because I've been really fascinated with the Lakers, honestly, this year. One thing I thought earlier in the year too, just kind of watching and seeing this all play out, is like, wow, what a win was the Anthony Davis trade for the Lakers. Like at the time and the following years, it always was kind of a discussion. Like obviously they got a ring. It's a win. Like there's
Yeah.
no, you don't discuss it further than that. But if you really want to go into assets, like you had Lonzo Ball, Kuzma was doing his thing for a little while. I mean, you have that pick that the Pelicans had gotten, and you have
BI.
exactly, yeah, you have BI, and you look back, and honestly, I think I mean, no debate. Obviously, we had the ring, as we said, but the Lakers do that 10 times out of 10. Like you
Yeah.
see the way that that talent has dispersed, and it's just interesting how the combo has been such a hot conversation like the past few years, and I feel like it's kind of officially died
It's
down,
died.
and it,
I haven't heard a thing about it.
yeah,
Like,
exactly. But that's one thing I was thinking. I was just like, this at one point was like a debate, and now you have obviously Lonzo Ball's career is not looking the best at
yeah.
this point. You have Bi, he's in New Orleans, he's doing good. You have Kuzma, who's inefficient, but I mean I don't know if he's inefficient necessarily, but
He's just
good.
on a bad team.
Yeah,
He's
he's
just
on
on a bad
he's
team.
on literally one of the worst teams, one of the top three worst teams in the league.
Yeah.
So just interesting. That's one thing I thought. But then going off of that, seeing seeing LeBron playing with this team right now, with them healthy, I feel like it always takes a little time for them to really get that framework. They had the championship team. They really changed the formula up. Had a couple down years. Last year was good. They were obviously made it to the Western Conference Finals, couldn't really hold a candle to the Nuggets. But now I'm starting to get that feel of like a LeBron team with this. Like you have even like Cam Reddish, another former Knicks legend, someone like that where you just give them to LeBron and he does LeBron things. Like
Yeah.
like the other night, they're closing with Cam Reddish, Torian Prince, LeBron, Anthony Davis, and Austin Reeves. So they have a secondary creator with Austin Reeves. They have those two shooters / defenders, and then you have LeBron and his big Anthony Davis, which he's really never had other than his most recent championship run. And just seeing that got me thinking. I'm like, there's been a lot of debate as to who the second best player in the NBA is. Jokic obviously being number one. Bear with me, bear with me. And in terms of production, I mean, there's a lot of answers. We have Luka, we have Giannis, we have Steph, obviously. Even I've heard Shea Gilgeous-Alexander floated out there. And yeah, on a night to night basis, I'll be like, okay, give me Shea Gilgeous-Alexander for a regular season game. Why not?
Right.
Give me even for the regular season. But like seeing that last 5 minutes against the Suns the other night, where he's like, I'm LeBron fucking James. I'm taking over this game. I'm going to dissect. I'm going to run this play. I'm going to run the pick and roll. I'm going to get it to Anthony Davis in his spot. I'm going to make you terrified, and I'm going to blow right past you. I'm going to get Nurkic switched onto me, and I'm going to eat him every single play. And that's what he did. He literally took over at the end of that game, and he said, this is a playoff game, and he took it. He literally grabbed it, and he took it home, and he got the win. And that just made me feel like, wow, this is LeBron James. And like, maybe he really has just been kind of like, I'm waiting until I have my squad that I know I could do it with. And I'm getting that LeBron vibe. I'm getting that LeBron team vibe. Like with a team of this caliber, I feel like he's like really coming out of his shell with that. And like the end of a close game, I mean, as long as they don't run into the Nuggets, and even in that case, I mean, I think they have what it takes to go to war this year. And I really think they're legit contenders. And the fact that the in-season tournament can show me that is just so fun. I love that I'm talking about this in December, and I don't have to wait until April when the playoffs actually do start.
This wouldn't even be like a talking point in last year's NBA. Exactly. We would not have this type of reference to come off of to talk about LeBron in this light. Now, I need to push back a little bit, just a little bit. And if I need to win one playoff game, I think LeBron is either the second or third person I take, which I agree with you. I agree with you on that. If I need to win one game at any given night, LeBron might be the second or third person I take. But I do still have a little bit of issue with this Laker team. Like I do like Austin Reeves. I like the amalgamation of like wings that they've brought in with Torian Prince. They have Jared Vanderbilt, who's still been like injured, but once he comes back, he'll be a good defensive presence. Rui, like that whole group of miscast guys that like
Yeah.
LeBron just turns into actual NBA players.
Yeah.
Which goes to your point. LeBron turns everybody into like a decent NBA player. LeBron elevates the talent around him.
At least for sure.
Yeah. My one thing is I used to be a big D'Angelo Russell fan. He is just
Who wasn't? Who wasn't at a point coming out of Ohio State?
yeah, and that Nets run that he had,
Yeah, that
like
was nice. So then we
he's
wanted them.
just
We
we
wanted them as
did.
Knicks
We
fans. Yeah, we
we
did.
did.
Dodged the bullet, but we wanted
Yeah.
them.
It's just like I can't get there with them as like the number 2 team in the West just because of like I don't trust I don't fully trust it yet. I don't fully trust
Right.
it yet. I trust LeBron, and to an extent, I trust AD, but I still don't trust AD all that much. Just like it's weird for me to talk
Yeah.
about because I'm always going to go to bat for LeBron, and like he's the smartest player on the court every single night. He does things that no one else on the court even is thinking of, but can't get there yet with the Lakers. On that point, though, I would like to talk about the Minnesota Timberwolves a little bit
Oof.
because they are my for right now, like December whatever it is, December 7th, they're the number 2 team in the West for me.
Yeah.
And that's not like going out on a limb, but I believe that they are the team that's built the best to take down the Nuggets.
Yeah.
And even the Nuggets said it last year, like their toughest playoff series, even though it was was it a sweep or was it 4-1? I think it was 4-1.
I don't. It might have been 4-2. Honestly, it might have went
4-2.
6.
Either
I don't
way,
know. It was either went 5 or 6, but it was competitive
yeah,
regardless.
it was a
Very.
competitive series, and I still think that they are like the best team to take down the Nuggets.
I totally agree with you there. I mean, this is kind of like that classic, like thorn in the side, as I was saying. Like, this
Yeah,
is that team that's built, and that even like it's when the Nuggets recognize it, and like that's you're like, okay, this team might be next up because it's almost like Warriors-esque in a way. Like people knew
yeah.
they were coming. Not to say that it's a obviously entirely different team, not even close to a similar construction, but
I
it's
just want to cut you off for 1 second.
yeah,
It reminds me of that 20. I believe it was 2013 or 20. I believe it was 2013 or 2012. That Warriors versus Clippers
yes, I was
series.
about to say Warriors Clippers.
Yes,
It's very,
yes,
very
yes.
much like granted the Clippers never saw the level of success the Nuggets have, but
Yeah,
it's a very similar situation. But yeah, definitely to your point there, like I just think the way that they've been playing, obviously with Rudy kind of coming into his own there, these kind of teams just take a little time. And we
yeah.
saw flashes of it, obviously, in that Memphis Grizzlies series, even back a couple years ago, where they really should have won that series. They were
They
the better team in that series. And
100%.
yes, they did kind of ship off the farm for Gobert. We saw last year, we're like, oh my God, this is maybe one of the worst trades in NBA history. They still paid too much, but like, we're here now. There's no time like the present. And like, as of right now, they're doing awesome because of it. So honestly,
Yeah.
you really can't complain too much anymore about that trade. I mean, I guess it has weirdly become the rare like win-win, maybe like did too much for it, but like still win-win. So I mean,
Hmm.
they're in a great position. I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe you have too many young guys, they're stepping on each other's feet. Maybe Naz Reid doesn't pop out like this, like he is now, because there's a lot more opportunity there. Because Gobert's not the kind of guy who's going to absorb any shots. So
No,
maybe,
no.
maybe some guys are coming out of their shell a little bit more and, producing more than they would have otherwise. So I do really like what I see from the Timberwolves. And I think it's hard to argue that they're the second best team right now in the West. And in terms of like we have said, we have the Suns, we have the Lakers. I mean, the West is a gauntlet, like typical. Like I mean, you have the
Yeah.
Warriors. I mean, they're liable to get hot any point in the season. They could rip off 10 straight. I mean, so you really have a tough Western Conference as per usual. And then you have some upcoming teams. You have the Rockets. I mean, the Kings are still there. They're obviously just as good. The Pelicans are going to be playing the Lakers tonight for a
Yeah.
chance to go to Vegas. So honestly, the West is in a great spot. East also, the East has some bottom feeders in there that some boring teams, but
Yeah,
overall it's been a great year.
The East is kind of just the East. Like the top 2 teams. Everyone knows who the top 2 teams are. Even like with the Bucks early season struggles, they've kind of got it back on track.
Yeah.
And it's the Bucks
They're
and the Celtics out in the East right now. Like those are the top two teams. And then you have like the Sixers are in a tier of their own, kind of like that third team, but they're not in the same group as like the Cavs, Knicks, Pacers. Like they're
no,
not in that
they're a
group.
level above that. They're
They're a
definitely a
level
level.
above that, and they're just like a level below the Bucks and Celtics. So the East is kind of playing out, kind of the way
Yeah.
that we all saw it playing out. But like you said, the West is a gauntlet as normal, and we're only a couple days away from Ja Morant returning.
Oh
So
God.
I didn't even think about it until last night.
I completely forgot about that, man.
They were playing the Pistons last night, and I was like, wait, it's game like 21, 22. That means Ja is coming back very
On
soon.
his
So
way back.
like they might be too far back already as is, but like they could try and make a play and run. I don't really want to talk about the Grizzlies because that team disgusts me. But
Desmond Bane dropped 49 last night.
yeah, he did.
He
That was
did.
just absurd.
He did.
Absurd.
Gotta love, gotta love Bane.
Yeah.
Flamethrower. Love it. But I mean, who are they playing first? I mean, they should probably like try to up their security before
Most
Ja
like,
comes
yeah.
back. Yeah, they
Yeah,
should
they
definitely
definitely should.
maybe security guards get a little extra layer of protection, maybe a couple Kevlar vests. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we'll see. But anyway, yeah, no. Also, the Thunder, by the way, I don't know how I didn't mention them as another up
Yeah,
and
but
coming team.
we've talked
They're
about them.
awesome. But
We've talked
we've
about
talked
them.
ad nauseum about the Thunder. I mean,
Yeah.
there's really not enough good stuff to say. Chet obviously balling, looking like the rookie of the year right now. But yeah, I mean, honestly, from there, I would say that tonight we're gonna have some great games. I mean, I really couldn't be more excited. I think there's some great matchups all around. I think, as we said, the Lakers are looking really good. The Pelicans are playing very well. Zion
Hmm.
is looking good. He's, I like how they kind of, he also has kind of just allowed himself to be a piece of it. And it's,
Yeah.
Ingram has kind of become the driving force, and McCollum is kind of too. And Zion's become more of a finisher, which I think is good. I mean, we had that point Zion stretch for a while, but like,
I
just
believe.
as
Yeah.
currently constructed, I think Zion being that finisher is a great fit right now.
Yeah, and we still have seen a little bit of point Zion this year.
Right.
Like when it's just him in the lineup, because Ingram missed time, McCollum missed time. When it was just him in the lineup, he was kind of the driving force of the offense, and he was doing it with like a team of like Jonas Valanciunas, Jordan Hawkins. This was before Trey Murphy got back. Like Herb Jones, he didn't have a lot of like outside help. So like it's kind of impressive that they stayed on track, even though they've been a little bit inconsistent. It was very impressive to me that they stayed on track. And I do agree it has been a little bit more of Ingram's team. I don't know if that's the best long term play, but it's working for now.
Yeah.
So
For now, it's working. I think that's all you could ask for, honestly, with this team's past, this team's history. It's working, and it's kind of reminiscent of last year. At this time, they were the 1 seed, and now they're in the mix for sure. So,
yeah.
maybe this is more of who they really are than what we've seen. So that's something I'm definitely excited for. And then, as we said, the Pacers are about as hot as can be. I mean, with Halliburton leading the charge, and the Bucks, I think quietly they've been like really good because the record is there, and Dame hasn't really got going like the way that he will, second
No.
half of the year. That's Dame time. So honestly, he's definitely he's smart. I mean, he's saving it, and he even you saw in that Knicks game, I was kind of like the Knicks were, keeping pace and whatever, end of the first half, and I was like, yeah, all we need though is Dame to kind of come alive because you have this is nice evenly matched right now. Second Dame starts hitting, they're in a different tier. And I think that that's where he's going to be. I
Yeah.
think, the defensive concerns are there, but, they have a whole season to figure it out. I have faith in Adrian Griffin. It's not your typical rookie head coach. He's been around the block for a long time. I mean, he was I'm pretty sure, I was watching an interview with him. I'm pretty sure he was on the Rockets team coached by Van Gundy and
Yeah.
Thibodeau, which is
He was.
good experience. And then he also has been on staffs with Thibodeau for a long time. And
Hmm.
so, and with a lot of other coaches. So I think he's absorbed a lot of that knowledge. And I think he,
Yeah.
is kind of cut for the task. It was a little disheartening with Terry Stotts kind of just dipping out. But I mean, it's hard when you're a longtime head coach and you have to be the assistant. So maybe he just realized it wasn't the fit for him. But yeah, I mean, I think the Bucks are looking good. But in terms of that, for these games tonight, you got any predictions or?
I was gonna. That's funny. I was gonna see like what do you think? But yeah, no. I've been kind of battling in my mind through it because I'm like unbiasedly, I am kind of rooting for the Pacers. I just think they're super fun, and I would like to see them. Like, I would like to see a young up and coming team win this thing. So I was kind of rooting for the Pacers. I'm gonna stick with the Pacers for my pick in that game,
I like it.
just because I I don't know who the Bucks have to even try and guard Tyrese. Not to say that like the Pacers have anyone to guard Dame or Giannis because they don't. But I think the high possession game will favor the Pacers. I think like running up and down will favor the Pacers, and if they can get the Bucks to play their game, then I think the Pacers can win it. For the West, I'm taking LeBron. I'm taking the Lakers because I think LeBron just really, really wants to win this thing, and I think he's gonna do it. So that's where my predictions are.
Yeah, I think I'm going with you. Same thing. I got Lakers, and I think I'm going to go with the Bucks. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be high scoring. As we saw, obviously the Bucks are liable to put up. I mean, even Dame said he's like, "Yeah, we missed a lot. We should have really scored 160 tonight." And as a Knicks fan, that was like,
that hurt.
Oh God, it was like, yeah, you probably should have, honestly. But yeah, I mean, they're red hot. You know, Dame is taking this seriously, almost in that LeBron way. It's like this is an important game, so Dame's going to be there. So that's I think I'm going to go with the Bucks. I think it's going to be a really good head to head with Dame and Halliburton, but I think that interior with Giannis and Brook Lopez too, I think it's just going to be a little too much for the Pacers. One thing I wanted to mention too that Damian Lillard said, he said that it was like one of those just, you know, the sideline reporter was kind of just giving a little breakdown of what they talked about with Dame before the game, and he had said, you know, he knew he was coming into a good team. He knew there was a lot of good players on this team. But the one guy he didn't realize was this good was Brook Lopez. And they've been really, really efficient as pick and roll partners. And it kind of just brings me back. It's just like this guy was a post savant, like back in the day. And once in a while, he'll have a couple moves, a little finger roll, and you're just like, where did that come from? Like that came from his all-star days. So
exactly,
he really is Splash Mountain. Like I love that nickname. He's awesome. So he's really coming to his own. I know we've had some negative comments towards his defense, but the Bucks kind of changed it up, and like they're looking really, really good.
It was like going back to that defensive point. It wasn't his fault. It was Adrian Griffin changing the scheme around him when they had a top 5 defense every year for the past 3 years, however long he's been there. But I love whenever we have these Brook Lopez conversations because everyone always forgets this guy was like 23, 12, and like 3 on the Nets, like back in the day. Like he was an elite post scorer and he was elite in the pick and roll. Like him and D Will, that was an elite like matchup. But I do I probably agree with you. The Bucks are gonna come out with the win, but I'm not gonna go into like what everyone else is doing. I'm gonna stick with my gut. I'm gonna go with the Pacers, and I'm just gonna hope for the best.
Yeah, I'm going with the proven contenders. I'm going with Lakers Bucks, and that'll be a great game in Vegas. I mean, the NBA is literally rubbing their hands together right now. This couldn't have worked out more perfect. Like you said, we have 2 up and coming teams. We have 2, you know, proven contenders. So I really think it's the perfect mix, and I'm really excited for tonight. I think it's going to be a great night of basketball.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. I'm definitely really excited for tonight, and it's going to start pretty early because the Pacers game starts at 5 p.m. Eastern.
What?
5 p.m.
Really?
Because
crazy.
They're playing on the same.
Oh, they're playing in the same building.
Same building, and
wow, they need that turnaround.
The NBA wants the East Coast viewership for the Lakers game later that night too.
Okay.
So
that makes sense. So they're kind of taking a little bit of a sacrifice. They're kind of inverting it because the East, I mean, like, as you said, I mean, it's hard. I mean, you got to wake up early in the morning, you know, you're on the East Coast. It's really hard to catch a lot of these games. I mean, half the time I'm trying my best and I'm knocking out. I'm recapping in the morning, but you know, it's tough, but they're definitely going to suffer on the West side though, because I mean, think about Central 4:30. I mean, who's really watching the game at 4:30 Central, and who's watching the game at 2:30 Central? I mean,
exactly.
That's like prime time to have nobody watching on the West
Coast. It's definitely going to be difficult, but like the fact that they have the fact that they're having it in Vegas, I think will help just because they'll have a lot of people at the game
Yeah, that's
because
true.
what else is going on in Vegas at 2 o'clock
So
on a
it's
Thursday?
not in the Sphere, right?
No, it's not in
No,
the
it's
Sphere.
not. Okay.
It's at
I didn't think so. I was just being clear about that. Okay.
yeah. I think it's some I forget the name of the arena. It does not matter, but it's at the same place that they do a lot of stuff.
Okay.
So yeah,
Should be
it'll
fun.
be
Should be fun.
it'll be fun.
All right. So we're going to close this one out with a segment we like to call Vertical of the Week. So I'm going to leave that open ended to you. Whatever you think constitutes the vertical of the week, we're going to go with it. So, Steve, what do you got for me?
Let me just pull it up real quick so that I don't get a name
Oh
wrong.
God, you want
Because
to
this is a little
share your
off the
screen, show a
beaten
little
path.
highlight video? Okay. Wait, okay, wait. I just get the name wrong. This must be a deep cut.
Yeah, this is a little
Draymond
bit of a
Green.
deep cut. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, so me and you were from Long Island, New York, and there's a pretty prominent high school basketball problem on Long
Oh
Island. It's
God.
called
Oh wow. This is real. Okay, let's do it.
deep cut, deep
Let's do
cut.
it. Let's do it. This is a deep cut.
So for anyone that doesn't know, the program I'm speaking of is Lehigh basketball. Lehigh is like
Okay.
a private school. They're a
What
really good basketball school.
what the hell
And
happened in Lehigh this week?
oh my God,
What
dude.
the hell happened there?
So there's a 5-star prospect by the name of VJ Edgecombe. I don't know if you're familiar with him. We're not big on the high school prospects nowadays,
Right,
but
right.
I'm more of the prospect college guy.
In the 2K
So
days, we would have had this guy on a roster in like 2027. We would
exactly,
have
and
simulated this out. He would be putting up
exactly,
30 a game. But who do we
we
got?
we would know everything about him. So VJ Edgecombe
Okay.
pulled a Vince Carter on uh on Friday night.
You might need to share your screen for this one.
You know what? You know what?
Let's see what you could do. Let's get
Let's
the IT team out here. Let's get the tech squad on this.
I got you. Don't you worry. I'm not great with tech, but I think I can do this.
I think you could do it. I have faith in you. This is doable. All right, here we go. We're about to witness something great. Oh my God.
Okay, do you have me?
Yes. Oh God, please no copyright infringement over time.
Oh, please no.
Please no. Please no. Oh my God.
Okay, here we go.
All right, wait. So who do we got? Yeah, give us the breakdown.
Okay, so
Who's
VJ
who?
Edgecombe. So white team is Lehigh. That is VJ Edgecombe's team.
Well, white in jersey color.
Yes, white in jersey color.
I can see why this happened against Chaminade.
Good clarification.
I think my cousin's on this team.
Just for a little for the viewers at home, because the viewers at home don't know Chaminade basketball. Chaminade basketball is another private school,
historically Caucasian.
Historically Caucasian.
Yes.
About 20 minutes from where me and Nick live, and it's just a bunch of normal basketball players versus a team full of future NBA Division One players. And after you guys watch this video, I'm going to tell you a couple of the other players on the team, and you can.
This is going to be like that moment where like the video with like Devin, like with Blake dunking and like Devin Booker.
Exactly.
You have everyone in the background. Yeah. So this is a local matchup, surprisingly.
This is a local matchup, except just with an extreme skill and athleticism discrepancy.
Okay, let's see it. I've heard all I need to hear.
Okay, here we go.
It's a little choppy, but I'll take it. Oh my God. I mean, it's definitely loses a little bit because he is like 5'10" at best.
Yeah.
But still very impressive. Amazing.
Okay.
Amazing. What technical prowess we have seen on display.
Oh yeah, we are some elite.
Maybe we might need to invest. We might need to invest in a tech team.
Yeah, maybe a producer, maybe an editor, maybe something like that. But you know, we're growing. But the other thing I wanted to mention from that is, do you know who else is on that Lehigh team?
I need to know now. Like I said, this is about to be This is about to be a 1-to-1 of that famous NBA video. Let's hear
Okay.
it.
Keon Anthony,
Okay.
Carmelo's son.
Oh, okay. He's nice. He's nice.
Cameron Boozer,
Oh my
Carlos
gosh. This
Boozer's
is
son.
great. This is great.
The other Boozer, who I'm forgetting his first name, but they're twin brothers, and both of them are on the team.
Wow.
VJ, who we just mentioned, and probably one of my top 3 favorite players ever, his son. Do you have any guesses?
Top 3 favorite players ever. Well, obviously, it's not Steph's son.
No,
it's not. It's not
but
Steph's son or daughter.
in the mold of Steph.
Okay.
Think about who was kind of like Steph Curry before Steph Curry
Uh.
on the court, not off the
Uh.
court.
I don't know.
The one, the only Gilbert Arenas.
Oh my God. That's crazy. For the viewers at home, nobody would know this aside from literally me and Steven, but
Yeah.
there's a legendary Twitter exchange between Steven and Gilbert Arenas where I'm pretty sure he just gave you so much shit. I'm pretty sure he just worked you because you said something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We're talking. It was about LeBron's height. He came in your DMs with the screenshots and everything. He was like, "I've been doing this shit." He's like, "I know what I see." He was pissed at you. We were like 16. He was going off on you on Twitter. That is great.
Gilbert came at me
man,
because
it's in the family, bro. It's in the family.
Yeah.
I love it.
I just thought that was a funny little tie-in because like not a lot happens in the basketball space, like locally for us.
I was gonna say, what a local. I did not know all these guys were on a local team around here. Like, I mean, Carmelo Anthony's son, that makes sense, but also like, there's so many good basketball schools in New York. I mean,
like
that's
he
impressive.
could go to any of them.
Good for Luhai. Good for Luhai. I think I'm actually a Luhai summer camp alum. I think I played summer basketball camp there one year.
That's right, you did. I believe.
Yeah.
Was it? Did you guys see Tobias Harris there? I believe.
I did watch Tobias Harris. He cooked all my camp counselors. Yeah, Tobias.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, for NBA fans, Tobias is a Luhai alum, so he's a shining example of how good you could really be in the NBA coming from there.
Exactly.
But yeah, building off of that, my vertical of the week, it's not nearly as exciting. It's someone that will probably be a staple on vertical of the week. I'm not even going to bother pulling up the video because I'm sure NBA fans have seen this, but it's got to be Shaedon Sharpe dunking on Walker Kessler, absolutely annihilating him. You saw, I'm sure. But yeah,
I saw Shaedon. I saw Shaedon.
But I mean, that's like a monthly occurrence. So I would say that's probably his monthly appearance. Maybe we'll try to keep the Shaedon Sharpe mentions to a minimum because
Shaedon gets one per month. If
at least,
one per month.
If we have, but end of the year we'll have a vertical of the year, and I'm sure he'll be in contention for that. But we'll try to keep it to a minimum. But I mean, first one of the year, I had to throw out Shaedon Sharpe. I mean, he's up there. I mean, literally his vertical is insane. So obviously put that on display. Kind of destroyed Walker Kessler. But hey, man, you're a good defender. It's going to happen. I'm sure 9 times out of 10, he's getting a block on a play like that. But you're going to have that one that's going to go viral. Hey, if you end up on enough of those, people know you're a good defender. So
exactly.
But yeah, I think we're going to wrap it there. So, good talking to you, Steve. I think we're going to have some great games tonight. Really looking forward to it. And I can't wait to talk to you again.
You too, Nick. Have a good night.
All right, man. See you later.